Welcome to the Hotsheet, Asabi. We are so happy to have you. You are a self-described writer, executive producer, cookie monster, spiritual baddie with a latte and a laptop. Your job is plotting stories, timelines. How do you describe being a creative person in a changing landscape, and how do you thrive in this world?
Oh, wow. That's such a big question. How do you thrive in this world? I mean, right now, I think everyone's just trying
Or
to survive.
survive. I was
Right.
just gonna say, like,
Yeah.
maybe it's just surviving.
Well, it's just about how do you survive right now without losing your mind, right? I've always been really creative. I think most of my journey now is not just surviving, but it is important to thrive. I think so much because the industry and the landscape of the industry, not only of ours, but I think what's like relevant around the world is like it's just changing so much, right? With AI and automation and world politics. I think it's an sometimes it's just an act of defiance and just to find joy in your day, even
Yeah.
when you can find day to day so much to be scared of. I really try to focus on like just the day
Yeah.
and what can I do that's creative, that's fun for me today, you know?
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I think for me personally, I'm such an empathetic person. I could get so wrapped up and so sucked up in all the trauma and the drama that it could almost be crippling.
Yeah. 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 I get it.
Well, I mean, the world is moving fast, right? Right? Like you
Yeah.
said, with AI, especially, I feel like that tempo is fast and everything's just moving fast. And we're creative people, which
Hmm.
requires a certain amount of focus and passion, and you're figuring out what the story is. And there's so many pieces to that to put together. And you're trying to do that in this very fast changing landscape. So what I personally find challenging is like, how do you navigate the landscape and stay creative and put all these pieces together? Because you're doing it's not like you're stable here and putting a bunch of pieces together over here. It's like unstable here and there's a bunch of pieces over here. And
Right.
it's a lot of moving parts, a lot of things to juggle when you're trying to be a creator and create a new show, or if you're even just hired to do a new show
Mhm.
and you're like a worker bee as a freelancer, you're still putting all the pieces together of the show, and it's just a lot of moving things. So I don't know if that helps explain where
Yeah.
we're at, because I feel like it's a constant thing trying to figure out what is going on.
Honestly, my mindset and if you had probably asked me a couple of years ago, my answer would be different. But I've never been more excited about being a creator than right now
Wow.
because of AI especially, which I think people see as a threat. And I'm like, no, you should see as your threat friend, especially if you're a creator, because it puts so many tools in your hand, right? Like I spent my whole morning so much so that I was like running late. I was telling Sean to this because I was like, oh, I forgot my light. I forgot this because I was looking into, like it's called like Artlist,
Yep.
but also other platforms where it's like you can become your own studio. You don't have to wait for a green light anymore. It's like now my like scripts that I've written that I don't have to wait for a green light now if I'm willing to take the time to learn how to prompt and to create images. Like I can create an image. I can put that into an AI. I can then direct the camera angles by typing it in. I can
Yep.
record the audio. I can write the audio, or now it even speaks and syncs up. And then it's like, so I might not maybe able to be able to find a $5 million, $50 million movie myself, but I'm looking at some of my projects and some of the scripts my writing partner and I have done and be like, how can we make these into little mini movies that we put on YouTube and monetize and still tell the story? So, for the capacity that AI has now, it's like, we can break, and it's an emerging thing anyway, where it's like huge in Asia, where it's like these little scripted series that are micro, like Quibi tried
Yeah.
to
Oh yeah,
do
is
a
that a
few
Yep.
years
thing?
ago.
Yep. Yep.
Well, it's enormous. in like
Wow.
Asia and Latin America. It just hasn't hit
Right.
here. And like Quibi obviously went under, but it's like there's new emerging companies that are trying it again because everywhere else it's enormous.
Yeah.
But the whole point is now I can do that with a subscription. I can pay, $30 a month. And as long as I'm taking the time to learn how to do it, I was looking into, along with him, we were looking into like, how do we take this script, which we think is so cool, and break it into little micro movies that we do ourselves. So as long as we
Yeah.
take the time to do it, it's like, I don't have to know some big wig at Paramount to get them to give me money so I can get my art out there. I can get it out there.
Yeah.
I
Do you,
think that's why it is exciting.
what's your opinion of Quibi as far as like timing? I feel like if they were starting today, they would probably
They'd
fly.
kill it. It's
Yeah.
almost like they
Yeah.
were
Yeah.
Too early.
they weren't ahead of the game. It was like they were too early here.
Yeah.
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 Even though I don't want to say like we did it first because we absolutely did not. Obviously, in other countries they were doing it was very successful, but I also think, I mean, it's like not like I'm there, but I know they spent an enormous amount of money, so it couldn't be profitable because the kind of money they were shelling out for these things,
Oh,
it's
it's
like the
incredible.
whole point is you do make them
Yeah.
cheaper, but it's like, so
Yeah.
you have these little micro movies and micro shows, but you're spending the same amount that you'd spend on a 50-minute show. It made no sense, right? Like,
Yeah.
the kind of budgets they had and were
Yeah.
throwing at it were extraordinary. Um,
Yeah.
I was just talking to my girlfriend she's a DGA director in LA. We were just catching up and, shooting the shit. And she was like, Jen, the only thing happening in LA right now are vertical movies.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is that? Like they're just little iPhone. I mean, she's like, literally, that's the only thing happening in town. I don't know.
Really? I didn't know
That's
that
what
they were
she
doing
just
those there.
She just said, yeah. Where are you? Are you in LA or are you?
Yeah, I'm in LA now. I'm
Okay.
originally from New York by way of London. I'm a dual citizen, but
Yeah, she
I'm in
said
LA.
She said in LA. That's what's happening. I was like,
I know there's
okay.
so many. I mean, we could get into how many runaway productions, and it's like LA doesn't have them, and whatever. That's like, I digress. Actually, really excited about all the things I can do creatively now. So I try to like in between, freelance gigs, where it used to be not even that long ago, which is wild how quickly the landscape is changing. It's like I'd work on a screenplay, I'd work on a script, or I'd be in like, I was lucky to work pretty consistently. Um, or there'd be moments of like, like there is for every freelancer, like, oh my God, when's my next gig coming? When's my next gig?
Yeah.
Da 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 da. Right. And then so that kind of makes that hard, I think, if you're in that mindset to be creative and write, because if part of you is like, when's my next gig coming? And now that the unscripted, especially landscape, is changing so much, I know a lot of people are in that place because they haven't worked in 1 year or 2 years.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm kind of grateful for all the different opportunities to get your stuff out there, because for me, I love to learn. I'm constantly learning new tech. And so my list of to-dos is so enormous. I actually get overwhelmed because I literally was joking with my writing partner and I was like, I honestly, like, I have so much to do the stuff that I want to do. I was like, I don't have time for a full-time job because I'd rather be doing this. I was like,
Yeah.
so it's like, I need to find a way to make this profitable because this is all I want to do.
Yeah. That's cool. And I was going to ask you with AI, what kind of tools are you using? Are you using the scripting tools? Are you using the word to movie picture or word to still photo, or what kind of tools are you using for that?
Well, I mean, it's like I'm starting to evolve and learn. I haven't used anything to make moving images yet. That's going to be
Okay.
new to me. So that's what I was like looking into today, because I had the idea about like our script that I think is like really cool, but to get it made, it's going to cost a fortune. And like green rights for features just like are not happening. And then like, as you were speaking about, Jen, like verticals and microfilms. And I was like, actually, this would be perfect for something like for like YouTube. And I was like, okay, how do we do this ourselves? So I don't know how to do that yet, but I'm going to start to learn.
Yeah.
And it really comes to prompting. I use ChatGPT a lot, but every time they update lately, I feel like it's not as good as it was earlier this year. before. They had like a big update, and it was actually March 18th.
Oh,
It
it's better than it was. It's just you got to pay more.
is great at if you're wondering about the holes in your script, or if you have a block. That's the thing. I think a lot of people think it's going to replace the creator, and it's like it's not there yet. It's nowhere close. But it is great to bounce ideas off of. It is great to be like, what am I missing? What plot holes am I missing? It's great to it's great to break like stalls where you're like, I don't know where to go from here. And just sort of like verbally like kind of type out like what you're thinking, and then kind of have it spit some ideas back to you, and then you're like, oh, that broke my stall. um I use Canva, which is incredible because it's really adopted AI. And like honestly, just knowing how to use Canva, people who really know how to use it, um it's extraordinary. That could be an entire job, to be honest, just understanding
Oh,
all
for
the
sure it
aspects
is.
of Canva.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
overwhelming. It's
yeah,
like, and they're constantly adding new stuff.
yeah.
So I do it for
I've
that.
taken the Canva dive and like on our branding and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun, but it is like it's a rabbit hole for
It
sure.
is a rabbit hole, and they just had a bunch of new upgrades, so I was just starting to look into that.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, I use it to help kind of like sometimes organize my day. I use it to suss out and kind of poke like come up with different ideas of things I want to do, different stories, which I use it to see holes in my stories. I haven't used it. I've used it to help design because I suck at drawing, but I can verbally say exactly what I want. So I've used it to do prompts to help me do a drawing that then I can take and change like on my iPad and drawing with it. Um, Gosh, there's so many things.
So one of the things I'd say is Curious Refuge School AI filmmakers, top level filmmakers. George and Dave Clark over at Promise Studios. They've partnered with some other people, and Dave's one of the teachers. But Curious Refuge, if you want to get to that pro level of AI filmmaking, that's where I would recommend. I've
Oh, okay. I'll
done
look
their
them up. So it's
done
called
their course.
Curious Record.
Yeah, I've done their course.
Writing that down. I gotta look into that.
It'll it's top of the line, top level people. I highly recommend it.
But
I
so
love
you're
it.
talking
Just
about using this stuff for your projects and your writing projects. I know you had a lot of success in the horror film genre. Is that what you're talking about? Your horror films, or are you talking
yeah.
about
I mean, I
other
wouldn't say
projects?
it's like I'm not like Blumhouse or anything. I wouldn't say I have a lot of success, but I love writing horror films. My writing partner and I write like elevated horror and thrillers. Um, but and they've gone on to win awards. We've produced a couple of ourselves, and filmed them ourselves. But now we are looking at sort of like it's kind of crazy. It's like how the way things are set up now is that you can sort of produce it from your living room, right? Like you just as long as you have a
Yeah,
laptop and
yeah,
a subscription, you can start producing that yourself. So that's the next part we're sort of looking at is like, okay, we're going to take our script, like literally with one of our features, we're going to take it, break it down into little micro films. And then he's amazing. He's far superior than I am on using like Mid Journey and animated AI. And so together, we're going to work together to sort of create like you're saying, like the little mini micro stories that then we can put on TikTok and YouTube and,
Oh
even our own
wow.
websites.
So like a horror film series on TikTok or something like
Yeah,
that.
we're just gonna break that up into a series because we think it
Yeah,
would be really cool for
that's
that.
so cool.
Um, yeah, and kind of figure out like, um,
Now, is
so I
that
was just researching
lucrative? Is
which is
that
best.
is that
I
something you
think,
can make money from off TikTok like that?
yeah, yeah,
yeah, definitely YouTube you can. I mean, YouTube has very strict restrictions around like what they call AI slop, even though they
yeah,
have their own, like they have VO3, which is incredible. But this isn't slop. As long as it's like you wrote it yourself, you've edited it yourself, like because even though you're going to create like if you like the longest you kind of create is like 8-second clips from what I've discovered so far, and then so you still have to edit them together. But the great thing about being in unscripted is like all the producers, if you're in post, you know how to edit, right? Like
yeah.
it's not like I know After Effects, but I do know how to edit So it's like taking those clips and editing them together and adding music and things like that. Although some AI can do that stuff for you too. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's our plan. We're just gonna do that. But yes, to answer your question on YouTube, there are very profitable channels where you tell stories that people go to watch because, they they love, following a great drama. And everyone
Yeah.
loves YouTube. I mean, YouTube's the biggest, it's the one thing people watch above any other channel. I mean, they put
Yeah.
Netflix wishes they had the amount of eyes YouTube has, to be
They
honest
sure
with you.
do, and they're trying. They're gonna start their own creator platform, it sounds
Yeah.
like. Yeah, so
Yeah, I mean,
we'll
but the
see.
thing is, it's like the genius thing about YouTube is like they basically spend no money, right? Like they
That's
spend a
incredible.
little
Yeah,
bit of money
yeah,
to keep it up,
yeah,
but it's like,
yeah,
but the creators, like you,
yeah,
me,
yeah,
us, they're the ones that bring profit, and then you share in the profit of your own creations, where
yeah,
Netflix is still putting
yeah.
out hundreds of millions of billions of dollars to
I
create
did I did
content.
a YouTube show years ago. It was for YouTube Red when they were trying to do that thing where they
Oh
created their own
yeah,
content. It was called
right.
Laced Up Sneaker Challenge. It's an awesome show to work on. We had a new celebrity in every week, and these kids at this uh, shoe design academy in Portland, Oregon called Pencil.
Oh
Would
wow,
these
who
kids
knew
would
there
do,
was a shoe design academy?
it's the only one in the it's the only one. It's the only one in the world.
That's amazing.
This guy's the co-creator of the Jordan shoe, and
Oh wow.
he started his own school there in Oregon because that's where Nike is and such. And so there's no schools teaching young folks how to do this. So we had a TV show around it on YouTube Red, and it was a cool show. But each week we'd have a different celebrity, and the kids would design a sneaker for that celebrity, and they'd go on.
Yeah.
But that was back when YouTube was paying for content. It all worked out, but it was fun. It was amazing. But I was going to ask you, with the horror genre, what attracts you to that?
I think I always just loved it since I was a kid, right? It's like I've always just, I love being scared, but I love that inside a lot of really good scary movies is a deeper story, right? It's like almost like the spoonful of sugar, but often you can use horror as a way to talk about social issues in a way that people don't realize you are, you know? Um, like Get Out, right? So I don't know. Personally, I've always just loved movies that scare you. And I love, action thrillers. Those are always my favorite.
In an Asabi scary movie, are we seeing the person get chopped up, or are we just alluding to it? Is that a
Actually,
difference?
most of mine, it's like the ones that I have a writing partner, Paul, ours actually aren't super, what do they call it? It's like ours aren't super graphic in the way that it's
Slasher. They're
just
not
like,
like slasher films.
yeah, and although you can have slashers that aren't super graphic, like there's a difference between like a slasher where, it's Nightmare on Elm Street, right? And then there's ones where it's sort of so grotesque and on the minutia of like Terrifier,
Yeah,
where you're seeing somebody's like skin being peeled off. That's
yeah,
not the stories we tell. We're more in
yeah,
line with Get Out, The Shining, um, or movies sort of bridged like horror thriller, like in the
yeah, yeah.
realm of like Silence of the Lambs in that realm. That's kind of like the
So
wheelhouse we're in.
Yeah.
your film is Haunting at 600, but it right? What is
1600. One of
six?
those is that it's
Yeah.
called
So what's
Haunting
it
at
about?
1600.
What
Well,
Haunted at
it's about
1600?
it's about how the White House is probably the most haunted place on earth, literally and figuratively. Um,
That's
but
funny.
But it's true. It's like, and there's actually been a lot of quotes by like Winston Churchill talked about it when he visited the White House. There's a lot of like the Obamas talk about it, the Bushes talked about it, that when you go to the White House, it's actually that there's ghosts have been seen there. There's a whole lore behind it. So it's about our story is about the first female African-American president who moves into the White House and finds out that it is haunted. And, um, and then it
Uh,
plays on the tropes of like when you're the first female and then also black female president, she can't exactly say people will be making jokes about like Boone Medea. Like she can't exactly like call in she can't exactly
a
call in somebody to help
Ghostbuster,
her.
like a
Or yeah,
Ghostbuster.
exactly. She can't call Ghostbusters. She can't tell people
Yeah.
because they'll invoke the 25th, right? Like, so it's about solving the mystery of why the White House is haunted, all while everything is falling apart around her. and she also has to, but kind of like by way of Get Out, she has to act, she has a different set of rules she has to act by, right? Like, she can't just but be, you know, like our current situation where people are just doing whatever. Um, there's no way that a Black female president could roll like that, you know? So ideas of like what that looks like and the different set of rules she has to play, and the fact that, like all good movies, there's ticking time clock. No, no, no problem. That haunts. Yeah, it's because we like things that, anybody would listen to the pitch and be like, "Oh, that's really cool," but then also have it say something behind that. And then also the truth about the irony of like the White House and how it does hide so many secrets, and how the history of America has been largely whitewashed. So,
I love that. And it also, I mean, I think just female leadership in general looks so different than male leadership. And so you can tap
entirely.
into that with this fun story and scare
Yeah.
everybody. You can scare everybody with some female
Yeah.
leadership.
Right. So terrifying.
So
Because the guys have been
terrifying.
doing such a great job. Such a bang up job so far.
I love
But
it.
yeah.
I love it. You know what? It's funny, but I have to say that the reason I'm in this career is because of a horror film. So
Yeah, which one?
yeah, no, my whole thing is connected to my passion for this business started with the horror film. So you probably have never heard of it because it's really old, but it's called The Fog,
Yeah,
and it
I've
was
seen the
a
fog. Of course
you
I've seen the
have?
fog.
You've seen
Of
The Fog?
course. I love 'em. Yeah,
John
I'm not new to
Carpenter.
horror, like, I'm just not like a visitor, like, I
Well, it's
love horror, I
old
grew up
school,
in
it's
horror.
old
Yeah,
school.
but I love going watch all the old ones, everything.
So they filmed that it's a John Carpenter film, and they filmed it in my home it was yeah, it was like a John Carpenter film they filmed in my hometown. The town that I grew up in is Point Reyes, California. It's on the coast of California, northern coast, and there's a lot of fog that comes in
Wow.
naturally. So the stories, the fog rolls in and
Yep.
all these creepy characters come in,
Yeah.
and so there was a movie set in town every day, and I got to see the movie trucks and the cameras, and the actors were hanging around at the local restaurant and stuff, and I was
Was
probably
it
like,
Jamie Lee Curtis was in that, right?
yes. So I met
Mhm.
her because I was 10. I was 10 years old, was with my friend, and we were, like, bugging her mom, and her mom's like, "Okay, guys, I dare you to go get Jamie Lee Curtis's autograph." And we're like, "Okay, dare." And so we were like little hippie kids, and we went and got, like, flowers from the field, and we went into the bar. It was
Oh,
like
that's
it was
cute.
called Jerry's, like, farmhouse. It was a bar. We're like, "Hi, it's Jamie Lee Curtis here." We're like 10, and they
That's
let us in
cute.
the bar for some reason. I don't know. I guess we were cute or something. And we literally went up to Jamie Lee Curtis was having a drink at the bar, and she was like, sat down with us and bought us Shirley Temples, and
Oh,
we had, like, this whole conversation with Jamie Lee Curtis. I thought she was so cool, and she was so nice, and I just was like, "I wanna get in film."
yep.
Is that hilarious?
No,
Um,
that's so cool, though. I didn't That's such a beautiful little town, though.
oh, yeah, it was great, and the
Oh,
fog is
wow.
real.
Yeah. Who knew? They
But
were like, "We didn't even have to use smoke machines."
yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But I watched the trailer yesterday just prepping for talking to you, and, I was like, "Wow, the style has changed so much." Like, it seems so cheesy and kind of like I mean, it's kind of a classic, but it just seems
Yeah.
like, like the guy's hand is coming through the windows, like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
that's like
I know it changes so much where you're like, "Oh." I'm always impressed, though, about, like, when I revisit, like, old movies like that. It's like, obviously, I didn't see it at the theater or anything, but I've always been into watching old movies, and, um, I kinda love the ones that stand up, though, over so long. Like, when you put on Silence of the Lambs now, it's
oh,
still great.
yeah.
You
Oh,
know what I
yeah.
mean? And, like,
Oh.
Seven holds up. Still
Oh,
incredible
yeah, that
looking,
was a
that film.
great
Yeah.
one. That was
Yeah.
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, and I love
I
where you're
love
like, "Oh, wow, like, Fincher killed it." Like, it's like 7 now still looks, and sometimes I'm like, "I can't believe this movie's, like, 25 years old," or whatever it is, and it still looks incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sean's dog's name is Seven. Did you name your dog after the movie, Sean? or no?
No, it has nothing to
No,
do with the movie, no.
different, totally separate
Yeah.
Yeah,
segments.
Yeah, and honestly, there is no cool story to Hawaii or how.
Aw, it's
It's
just like,
just
"You look like a
it
7 to me."
yeah, yeah. Well,
Aw.
she looks like a 10. Yeah,
So
yeah.
how are you guys holding up right now in this, gig economy and scene, like, all the people you're
Y
talking to?
you know,
Are they
you're
feeling more hopeful?
yeah, you're seeing it, this has been a good
This is it.
practice of one of the things that I dove into the AI thing and I've been playing in that space, and it's kinda taken me back to my roots to the advertising space and
Mhm.
design and all that fun stuff because 'cause I've done a bunch of that in the past and, like at college many, many years ago, and then, the other thing that's really good about this is I've always kind of dabbled in that creator space that I've never just dove in. And the thing about
Yeah,
Jen is she's a dive in kind of person, so she was a great choice for a partner, and working with,
Aw.
and so it was dive in and just go for it, and so learning so many skills. It's every turn is a learning, and whether
yeah,
it's on the social side, the podcast side, the producing a podcast side, the tech side, all the tech pieces, booking guests, and then handling guests in this platform versus when we're on set and interviewing
right.
somebody, right? Like in an interview, because
Yeah.
in that setting, you can go in circles until you get what you need, and you can get it 5 different
Yep,
ways. In this setting, it's very different, and so there's been a big learning from at least myself in that world, and I'll let Jen speak for herself, but yeah, that's what this has been so far.
Yeah, I think we're interviewing lots of different people in the business, and it's definitely a theme that the TV entertainment landscape is changing, and people
rapidly, yeah.
are, so people are finding their way. It's been
Mhm,
different for some people. Some people
mhm.
are going head on into the AI route. Sean and I decided to join this creator economy, which has been so much
Yeah,
fun. Like, I love talking to people about different stories and just the creative, our world and their creative journey. Like that to me is a thrill. Um, and a lot of people are, just trying to figure it out. I mean,
yeah,
everyone that we've talked to is still in the business, still thriving, um, but the road ahead is not as clear. I think when
yep,
we all got on the business, there was like so much work. We created the freelance workforce, and
yeah,
now that's sort of changed, and so you have to change with it. And so
yeah,
I think everyone's just trying to find their way, and it's not an easy time, but at the same
no,
time, there's a lot of opportunity for people to create, like you said, like yourself, like creators like
yeah.
yourself can just take the reins and go with it,
I feel like it's like you almost don't have a choice, like, it's happening anyway. I think people who are sort of denying that the change is here are just going to find themselves a bit high and dry, so you might as well embrace the pivot, right? Like, you can't I think our generation, the generation before, even up to, like, older Gen Zers, we all grew up thinking like, "Oh, you have one job your whole life, and then you retire, and you move up, and you make a certain amount of money, then you get to insert age, and then you retire." And then it's like, "No, that's not how it happens anymore." And it
No,
used to be like, jack of all trades, master of none. And now, honestly, I think the more skill sets you have, the more viable you are to get hired, because
yeah,
people are gonna it's going to be the people who know how to use tech. It's going to be the people who know how to leverage social media. It's going to be the people who are
yeah.
embracing this that are going to keep on becoming hireable if that's what they enjoy. But I think there's also been a switch. There are a lot of people who are like, you know what? Why don't I just start creating stuff for myself and figure that out? I think a lot of people are embracing becoming like they are becoming they are becoming the CEO of their own life. Their IP is them, and I think that's fascinating,
yeah,
where you're like, "Oh, I am my IP," and based on people yeah,
Yeah.
and based on your own authenticity, your own creative works and what you do with it, and it's like no one's telling you what time so you have to be very disciplined, right, to make it work. You still have tons of work to learn. You have to learn a lot of skills, but there is something I think for certain people to it's kind of refreshing to be like, "Oh, livelihood doesn't depend on the whims of somebody else and the whims of just a ever-changing industry, because it is changing. So I think the sooner people accept that fact and kind of figure out, like, okay, how can I monetize what I'm good at and leverage that so I can still pay my bills and live a good life, I think um, this is an incredible time to do it. And it's better to be an early adopter than just sort of cling on to something that, like, is gonna go by the wayside. I kept busy, and we realized that there were so many people who were so intimidated by AI, right? And it's coming, especially a lot of boomers and millennials and zennials. And I think there's overwhelm because there's so many AI apps, and it's like, what do you do? So we co-wrote a book um, that came out yesterday on Amazon. Um, and it teaches people, and sometimes when you read, I would look up books on AI and I was like, these are so overwhelming and so boring. I'd put this down so fast because I'd be like, just just show me how to use it. Just tell me which ones make sense for which ones to use. There's a bazillion out there. Just like tell me which ones to use, how to use them. So yeah, we co-wrote a book, and it came out on Amazon yesterday. And it's called Thank
Congratulations.
you.
Wow.
It's called Don't Panic. It's just AI. But that's the thing. It's like I never, if you had asked me, like, you know, 18 months ago, if I was going to write a book about AI, I'd be like, no way. And then I just ended up learning so much about it and seeing how many people were intimidated about it. We were just like, why don't we just write a book that's like a guide for people that's super stripped down so it's not overwhelming and they don't get scared about it, and that they can learn how to prompt and use it in a way that's not intimidating, and just pare it down for them so they're like, got it. If I want to learn how to do images, then I'm going to go to like Midjourney. If I want to learn how to do this, then something else, then I'm going to go to ChatGPT. If I want to do novel writing, I'm going to go to Novel Crafter. Um, so yeah, and it's
Yeah,
like, oh,
I was
okay.
going to ask
And
you, what are the top 3 takeaways from your book? Or
the
are you going to
biggest
make me or are you going to make me read it, and where can I get
You
it?
should read it. I think what the biggest takeaways is, it's not as scary as a lot of people think it is. The biggest takeaway is befriend AI. I've always said this. You want to befriend AI, not like just don't make it your enemy. Become an early adopter. It can help you streamline your life so much. And it's sort of like people when the internet came out and they were like, internet shopping will never replace a brick and mortar, and look where we are, right? Like, people do all their shopping online now, like from their iPhones. It's not going away. So the people who won't be replaced by AI are the people who know how to use and work along with AI. And it really can make your life so much simpler. So this book, this guide is just, the takeaway is it's not as scary as you think. You can use it to your advantage. Um, and it's very easy and accessible and free in most cases. So you have no excuse. But it's also the one thing that's going to make your skill set all the more valuable, because the people who will keep their jobs and keep working are the people who know how to use AI along with their own creative vision, which you already have, right? So especially for people in entertainment, I feel like it's incredibly important. Like a
And what
plumber, their job's not being replaced by AI. But if you're
No,
not
no.
a plumber, right? A
Yeah.
dentist not being replaced by AI. And we're just going to
Yeah.
let a robot, plastic surgeon, you're good. You need to stick to school. But if you're in a creative field, if you're not learning this skill, you're actively making yourself unhireable, because it's not going to replace you, but you just need to learn how to use it to make yourself more efficient.
Yeah. And where can I get this book?
On Amazon.
Amazon. Okay.
It's on Amazon. Like
It's on
everything.
in.
And it's
It's
don't
on.
panic. It's just
It's
AI.
just AI. Mm-hmm.
I love it. That is a
Don't panic.
great,
It's just AI.
oh my gosh. I think
But
that's
that's an
very
example of
helpful.
something that, like, I use my downtime for. I was like, it just one day just occurred to me that, like, I was talking to my friend and they were like, I just feel so overwhelmed. Like, where do I start? I opened up the app. I don't know what to say. I don't know. And I was like, huh, I think a lot of people probably get to that point. And then they just close the browser tab and they're like, I don't want to look. I don't want to da-da-da. And so this is just to help people get over that, where it's just like, it's not scary. It can be one of your best buddies. It can actually save you so much time. Even if you want something to do, here's something. I hate math. It's not my thing. I'm a creative person. I don't love math. I don't love budgeting like that. And Excel, I hate Excel with the heat of 1,000 suns. But you can, right? Like, I hate it. And like sometimes when you have to do like those grids and stuff even on our job and unscripted, right? You know how sometimes you'll do like, okay, like what scene have you shot? What's the number of it? Da-da, and you have to create like in Google, we all go on Google Drive and you have to create like the equivalent of Excel and you're doing like a scene list and you're trying to track them. Creating those grids, I hated as an EP. Now I can just go on ChatGPT and be like, can you create me a grid in Excel that I can import into Google Drive? And this is what it needs to have it in. And it's like 5 seconds later, it's like, here you go. You click upon, you download it, you upload it to something that would have taken me all day.
Wait,
Now
I
takes
didn't
me
know
5 minutes.
ChatGPT can create
Exactly.
an Excel spreadsheet for you. What? That's really cool.
Yeah, it can create a doc.
didn't
It can
know
create
that.
something that it can create like a CSV file. So it's like, put it this way. It's like a lot of us have like S corps, right? Or corporations or LLCs. And then you've got to do all these docs of like for your accountants. And you're just like, oh God, what file? CSV. And I got to load this and this. And you're like, oh, this is a nightmare. You could just go onto ChatGPT and explain what you need and how you need to get it together for your accountant. And it'll be like, cool, just answer all these questions. You don't even have to type anymore. You can just speak into it. It's like, got it. And it'll put it all into a CSV file in seconds that then you can download and just send to your accountant. That's what I did. And I was like, you just saved me literally a week's worth of work where I was just trying to break out all my different expenses. And you're just like, ugh, like what? And this isn't importing. And then it does it for you.
Wow.
Yeah,
But that's why you got to learn how to prompt, right? And so that's what our book kind of does, how it explains like all those things that people had no idea that it can do. It can edit for you.
Was this an Amazon KDP project?
Yeah.
It's a
What's
great
KDP?
Amazon.
Well, KDP is just like Amazon's publishing, so you can
it's the Kindle Direct Publishing. Kindle Direct Publishing is what
but
it is.
it'll be on like Kindle, but you have to do 2 different forms. But that's also that's a huge learning curve too, because you've got to like format it specifically when you publish. And that's why I started to learn Canva.
Well, because of KDP, I'm an author. I have 2 coloring books I created.
That's awesome.
Really?
I did, yeah.
That's so cute.
I didn't know that.
It's
awesome.
That's a secret skill you have, Sean. You created a
coloring
book?
It was really just testing taking all my AI learnings from Curious Refuge, another plug, and I took all my designs and turn them in. I think it's called monoline is what you turn it into to then make it something that people can color. So they're adult coloring books. And I can't even plug my own book because I don't remember the names of them, but they are out in the universe.
That's awesome. Well, you're going to learn how to do that and plug it.
I would have to look them up and see what they are to plug them.
Oh my gosh, that was so great. I feel inspired, talking to you. It's like, we should just get out there and
make it. It's like what you guys are doing with this show. You guys should be so proud of yourselves.
Yeah, no, I think it's really great. I love your can-do spirit and the fact that you are writing a book for Amazon and writing your horror films and staying busy.
Donating things and helping people. I mean, that's what it's about, helping other people,
No, it's really great. Like, I think I hope I'll take that to heart. I'll take some advice and stay with it.
1,000%.
And it's lovely talking to you, and good luck on all of your next projects too.
Thank you so much, and thanks for having me on. It was so great talking with you guys. I'm so excited for you in this venture. See, you're doing exactly that.
Thank you.
You're using this time
thank you.
and pivoting.